So just a few days ago, the Miami Heat, in one of the more shocking things in the whole NBA season, actually just got swept by the Milwaukee Bucks. This was a series that many people legitimately thought that Miami could or would win, or at the bare minimum, people thought it would be a close and intense series that would go at least 6 or 7 games. But the shock to everyone, including me, Milwaukee straight up swept them. And now their season's done, so now we have to look into the future of the Miami Heat and the offseason for the Miami Heat. So in today's video, I'll discuss what's next for the Miami Heat's future, and I'll be telling you some things that I think they should do in this year's offseason. But before we get into the video, I ask you to drop a like on this video as it does help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want weekly NBA content and search my goal of 1,500 subscribers, and comment on this video, start a conversation with me as I do respond to all of my comments, and play that intro. The first thing I believe the Miami Heat should do this upcoming season is something that I believe the Heat should have done 2 or 3 months ago during the NBA trade deadline, is that I think the Miami Heat should have traded for Kyle Lowry. And you might be thinking, how can they trade for Lowry if he's going to be a free agent this year? And the way to do that is either Miami straight up trades for Kyle Lowry via sign and trade, which might be hard to do because of their cap situation, but I think they could get it done because Duncan Robinson is going to get a lot of money this year since he is a top 10 shooter in the league. And if you added his contract combined with maybe a guy like Tyler Hero, Trevor Ariza, or something else and send it to the Raptors, they will 100% take that deal because it's better than nothing. And if this team could get Kyle Lowry, who's a multiple-time All-Star, who's also a guy who could shoot the ball at an elite level and create plays for others, and he's a guy who as of late has been stepping up in the postseason. And don't forget, he's an elite playmaker. Just a few seasons ago, he was averaging 9 assists. That is something and someone who this Heat team could really use, because they need another guy who can go off for 20 points consistently and take some pressure out of Jimmy Butler. They need another guy who could create plays for others, because when Jimmy was getting locked down by Giannis, the whole Miami team's offense just stagnated and got dry. I also think Kyle Lowry would for sure want to go to the Heat, because if he's going to be in a sign and trade, he has to agree to go to the team. And I think he would go there because Miami is for sure a playoff team, and I think with him they could compete against the best teams in the Eastern Conference. I think he would want to be a part of that. I really think they need to make a trade for him, because after getting swept by the Bucks fully healthy, it just doesn't look good. Obviously they were missing Oladipo, but if they get Lowry, I don't think they can keep Oladipo. The second thing I believe the Miami Heat should do this offseason is resign Victor Oladipo if they can get Kyle Lowry. And you might be thinking, Victor Oladipo is going to be injured a lot next season, and he's been asking for like so much money. Why would you re-sign him? And the reason, in my opinion, why you would do that is because when they traded for him at the deadline, it didn't seem like they gave up much for him. But they actually gave up Kelly Olynyk, who is now looking like a really good starter in the NBA on the Rockets. And I think he could have helped them in that series versus the Bucks, because although he's not a good defender, he's a really good three-point shooter who can even handle the ball at a good level and sometimes make plays. So I think they have to re-sign the guy who they traded for at the deadline. And on top of that, Oladipo's not even a bad player. 3 years ago, he was just a top 5 shooting guard in the league and an all-star. And I think there's a legit chance that when he heals from his injury, he will return at least somewhat back to his form and be a somewhat efficient 20 points per game scorer, which is something that I believe this Heat team really needs. Since in that series versus the Bucks, they simply didn't have enough scoring to keep up with Milwaukee, and they didn't have more players who could just go out and get a bucket consistently. And I think Oladipo could do just that. He's also a very good defender as well, and he's just a really good player, and he has been struggling with injuries, but I think he's gonna bounce back. But in my opinion, if Victor Oladipo ever asks for more than $20 to $22 million a year, I think the Miami Heat should just let him walk at that point, because that's just too much. But Oladipo is a huge risk, I'm not gonna lie, but I do think it's a risk that I think they should take, unless they could get the next guy who I'm gonna talk about, and that guy is someone that they should drop down everything just to get him. The third thing I think the Miami Heat should do this offseason is something that I was talking about in the previous thing, and that is that I think they should sign the guy named Kawhi Leonard, who's a superstar. And this actually isn't an unrealistic thing to happen, since this offseason, Kawhi Leonard can opt out of his contract and join any team he wants. I think there is a reason that he could go to Miami because of the fact that the LA Clippers aren't looking too good against the Dallas Mavericks at the making of this video. I know they're tied 2-2, but I don't think they should be in that position anyways. I still think Dallas is going to win that series, or at least I hope. And in my opinion, even if they do beat Dallas, and if they lose to Dallas, he's for sure gone. But even if they beat Dallas and make it to the second round, or lose or win in the second round, if they don't make the NBA Finals, I honestly think Kawhi Leonard isn't going to stay. And that leaves the door open to Miami. And Miami would have enough money to sign both Kawhi, and maybe there's a chance they could use their bird rights on a guy like Victor Oladipo or Duncan Robinson. Out of those two, I would choose Victor Oladipo. But at the end of the day, they could still get Kawhi Leonard and add a superstar to their team. And I think that would be amazing for this team for obvious reasons, because they would now have a big three of Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Kawhi Leonard, along with like role players like Tyler Hero, Victor Oladipo or Duncan Robinson, Goran Dragic, Trevor Ariza, along with some others. In my opinion, a team of that magnitude is definitely good enough to go all the way to the NBA Finals, even over teams like the Brooklyn Nets. And I honestly think it would be great to see, because I don't want to see Kawhi go to the Warriors. I also think another reason Kawhi actually could go to Miami is the fact that a big reason why he wanted to go to the Clippers was because of marketing and stuff like that. But surprisingly, his popularity hasn't gone up a crazy amount since going to the Clippers, simply because they're the sons of the Lakers. But if he goes to Miami, which is already one of the bigger markets in the whole entire league, it might just make him as popular as he wants, and it would give him a good chance to win the NBA championship, even over the Clippers. I honestly would like to see Kawhi go there, but I am fearful that he will go to the Warriors. But nonetheless, if the Heat could get Kawhi, no matter what they have to give up, they definitely should go all in on him, because he's a generational talent. But to conclude the video, I honestly don't think the Miami Heat are in a terrible position. I don't necessarily think they're bubble frauds, but I do think that the bubble run definitely wouldn't have led them to make the NBA Finals if there was no bubble. But Miami is far from having a bad future, and they just had a really down year. The whole year they were just looking bad. But that series versus the Bucks was really rough, because they just didn't look as smooth as they did in prior years. But hopefully they bounce back, because I'm low-key a Miami Heat fan. Anyways, guys, that's it for the video. Let me know if you agree or disagree with what I said in this video. Drop a like on this video to help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want weekly NBA content, and touch my goal of 1,500 subscribers. Comment on this video, start a conversation with me, as I do respond to all of my comments, and play that intro. I'm out.